All right, I am going to show you how to use this FlySky Noble NB4 to set up mixing for your servo winch. All right, for my setup, you can see down here I am using a Precision RC Works Raptor. It's a thing in the green case. Winch controller, and then the Precision RC Works Hand of God winch, servo winch for my setup. So this on the NB4 can be achieved with the 4-channel receiver. You don't have to have the 8-channel receiver to do this, because what we're going to do is we're going to use channels 5 and 6, which don't really exist, but in the software they do, as dummy channels, and we're going to slave them or mix them with channel 3 to get what we want to do for servo winching. So as you can see, my preference is on the NB4, you've got these little paddle buttons right here. I prefer to use these for my winch. This one is winch out, this one is winch in. So whenever you're looking at it, you can see channel 5 and channel 6. When I go winch out, I have it set though so that it goes full on. It'll automatically spool out until I tell it to stop by pressing the button again. And when I want to bring it back in, I have the internal paddle switch set to channel 5 to work as a momentary. So as long as I have it held in, it'll winch. When I let go, it won't winch. Winch in, not winching anymore. Okay? So letting out, not letting out. Spooling in while it's held, not doing anything when it's let off. Okay? And I found that's the best way to go, because usually when you're trying to find a winch point, you're trying to get your winch line out, trying to hook it to something, and it's a pain in the butt to hold the button while you're trying to hook your winch on something. So I find it, let it spool by itself, tap the button to let it stop spooling, and then spool in controlled. You can steer with the truck while you're pulling and driving and winching, and then as soon as you let go, it stops. That way you don't accidentally over winch and destroy your truck if you happen to have a super powerful winch. So that's a little bit of how I have this set up. So we're gonna go through and show you how to make this happen. First thing we're gonna do to set this up is we're going to go into the model. You're going into channel number definition, and you're gonna wanna set it to 8 channels. It doesn't matter if you have a 4-channel receiver. You're going to want to set it to 8 channels so you have extra channels to use as dummy channels to slave to number 3 or 4, whichever you choose to use. So set it to 8 channels in the number definition, and then back out. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to go to the assign button, and you're going to assign these 2 switches to a channel. So we're going to do the far switch first, which is SW3. As you can see on SW3, this is going to be our spooling out. We're going to set it as a button type S button. You're going to function channel it to channel 6. You're going to use mode turn, direction reverse. And then switch to SW2 is this one right here. This is going to be your winch in. So SW2, you're going to set it to S button, function channel 5, trigger, direction normal. And then you're going to back out of that. All right, the next thing we're going to do is program our mixes. So we need to go back into settings. If your screen is like mine, you'll swipe over, go to mixes, programming mixes. I will be using mix 1 and mix 2. It doesn't matter which one you use, but those are the only 2 mixes I have programmed, so that's where I started. So starting with mix 1, you're going to come on and turn your master channel to 5, your slave channel to 3, low side mix to 0%, high side mix to 100%, and your offset to 0. Once you've done that, make sure you hit the little green button here to make sure it turns it on. When you back out, it should say mix on. All right, next we're going to set up mix 2. Your master channel on mix 2 is going to be 6. Your slave channel is going to be 3. Your low side mix is 100%. High side mix 0%. Your offset 0%. And again, make sure you have the green check checked so that it turns on the mix. Back out. Confirm that both mix 1 and 2 are listed as on, and you are done setting up your mixes, and you can back out to the main screen. All right, once you have that set and you've backed out of your mixes, go to display and then click the 3-line button, and that'll give you the screen that shows you your channel 3, channel 5, and channel 6. You should look something like this. Channel 5 should be a negative 100%. Channel 6 should be at positive 100% if it is set in the state where your winch is actually not going anywhere. Channel 3 should be right around in the middle somewhere, depending on what your trim ends up being, to make sure your winch isn't just spooling away on its own. So before you ever turn the truck on, you can give it a test here before you do anything else. So remember, SW3 is going to be our on. Should be a turn it on and it'll stay on. So we press it on. You can see channel 3 goes to full on, which means the winch is now unspooling until you press the button again. When you press the button again, the winch will stop. Okay, so that is working correctly. Channel 5 is going to be our in, or SW3. So we're going to press and hold the button and it stays on. As soon as I let go, it shuts off. So that's how you can look and see if you have your mixing set up properly. That is unspooling without the button being held, and then I press it again and it goes away. And then spooling in, press and hold. As soon as I let go, it stops. In, stop. Okay? So that is how it'll look on your servo test view. If everything looks good here, then you can go ahead and plug your servo winch into, or your winch controller into channel 3 on your receiver. After you do that, get ready to power it up and we will give it a test for real. Now, the most important thing, do not have a hook attached to your winch line before you power it up, because your trim will probably need to be set so that your winch will be at 0 so it doesn't move anywhere. If you have a hook on it, you could risk tearing your bumpers apart, your truck apart, or hurting yourself with a winch line if it clamps around your fingers or anything like that. So make sure there's nothing on the line, or even no line in your winch. That way it can spin freely while you're finishing confirming and trimming it out to make sure it works good. So after you've checked it, just go and back out again, all the way to the main screen. Now we're going to go ahead and plug in our truck, and I will show you how to center your trim. All right, so now we have everything turned on and plugged in and ready to go. Let's see if I can do this both at the same time. So as you can see, here's my winch line. I'm going to tap the outer button, SW2, and it continuously unwinds until I hit the button again and it stops. All right, so now if I want to wind it back in, I can hold the momentary switch and it will winch me back in. Just like so. Okay, so what you want to do, if you turn your truck on and the winch is just spooling away, having a good old time, go into your sub trim for channel 3, and then, so you select channel 3, and then plus or minus until you get that winch to go down to a stop. Because if I start backing it off, you can hear the winches going. Somewhere between 70 and 80 is where mine stops at, which is okay. Once you've confirmed that, you're good to go. And you are ready to rock and have some fun winching with your truck should you need the ability to do so. And again, just so you can get a close-up look here, I've used the Precision RC Works Raptor controller. It's very small, lightweight, in a nice little case. And then right up front here, I have the Precision RC Works Hand of God winch. I forget how strong it is, but it's enough to fold this truck in half if I'm not careful. It'll always get you out of anything you got going on. But there you have it. That is how you set up your FlySky Noble NB4 for winching procedures with a 4-channel receiver, slaving and mixing. Alrighty, hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching.